All right, we got Jake from Goat Farm here. This is a pre to the Amber story. Having a hard time with the audio, but I want to get it back to raw. I'm gonna play it through my speakers of my laptop because I can't get CapCut working. I still got a lot of growing pains with CapCut going on, and I can't get it to work on my laptop. But I want to get this audio out in the raw form. I'm calling it. So I'm playing this audio, playing it from my laptop through my speakers. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a little disclaimer. This is very heavy stuff. Extremely high, off the charts anxiety warning. Again, we are just messengers of the story. We're just the platform. These are allegations, and we're gonna try to get anybody that wants to get any comment or basically open this up to public discussion and try to use the channels and whatever we can do to figure out the truth of this matter. And I don't young children would definitely not have them in the room in the background. Or, I mean, make sure you parents out there just listen to this first. This is a lot. It is a lot. I haven't started the audio yet, but this is us testing the raw version versus the enhanced AI version. So Robert and I are both I think we're both right on this. So I don't want people to think we're fighting, but we're just trying to figure out the best way to represent this. And we don't know what we don't know until you guys hear it, the enhanced version and then the raw version. And we are all learning as we go. Saying this a little different way, we're trying to look professional, but also trying to keep it raw and original. So that is the trade-off. So like you'll hear some barking dogs right in the beginning. And apparently AI has the ability to kind of squelch that out. But I'm like, hey, that is part of this interview. But also it's distracting. So I again think Robert and I are both right. I appreciate you, Robert, and I am going to finally stop talking to myself here and hit play.
We got Jake and John here with us. You guys want to say hi? Why don't you go first, Jake, since you were on the original one, to say hi to everybody. And then John, if you want to tell people about you a little bit and where you came from, how long you've been here and everything, we can go from there.
I think that's John's. All right, how would I go? Yeah, so definitely. Hey, I'm Jake. Jake Langsley. Also call myself Jake from Goat Farm on social media. I'm a father of four, business owner, and interested in the courts, interested in the legal aspects, and getting government working, and accountability and transparency, and that's why I'm hanging out.
I mean, John, if you want to just tell the audience a little bit about yourself. You know, where you came from, what your goal is on this little podcast deal that we're setting up, and transparency-wise and everything, and we'll move on to the main feature, Amber, after that.
My name's John Casper. I'm currently retired after 40 years of working construction in the Grand Rapids area and all over the country, basically. But I've been involved in local politics for decades now, and my main goal is getting transparency within Itasca County. Everything from the taxes are out of control, but more recently, accountability for individuals within the government and outside of the government, particularly with the sexual misconduct that's going on within the Sheriff's Department and the rest of Itasca County. That's what my goal is.
So you've been Itasca County resident for your whole life, and you just most recently now resident of Florida, but still own property in Itasca County, correct?
Yeah, I split probably 6 months in each state. Like you said, I own property in Grand Rapids. Still, I pay property taxes in Grand Rapids for 44 years. So, and then I have 17 grandchildren, and that's another goal of mine. Is right now our children and grandchildren aren't going to be able to stay in Itasca County. You mentioned this before. Graduating classes used to be 400, and they're less than 300 now, and none of these kids are able to stay because it's just too expensive in the county.
Alrighty. We'll touch a little bit more with you, John, on that and everything, but this whole purpose of today was for this interview, and the interview is with Amber, used to be a resident of Itasca County in the Grand Rapids area. She grew up her whole life in the area and now is no longer in the area. And she's had a wonderful little, I guess it was not wonderful, a traumatic experience in Itasca County in the Grand Rapids area. So, Amber, if you want to come in and tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you grew up and whatnot, and then we'll move on from that aspect.
Hi, I'm Amber. I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Itasca County. Graduated high school there. Still have family there. I no longer live in the area due to certain circumstances, and I am here to shed light on something that has been hidden for 20 years.
Okay, now by doing this now, Northern Light Transparency, these are just allegations coming from Amber. We don't take responsibility or anything. We aren't alleging any guilt in this. We're just shedding light and giving a platform for Amber to speak on and tell her story. So Amber, if you want to start out, and I know this is a touchy subject for some people, and including yourself. So if you need a break or anything, or just need to relax, feel free just to say, I need to relax, and we can fill in with our talk. And then you can come back if you want. So at any point here, Amber, if you feel uncomfortable saying anything, just let us know, and we'll move on from the subject, from that particular item or whatnot, and then we'll go from there. So if you want to tell us your situation, the platform is yours.
Okay. When I was 16 years old, I was sexually assaulted by a former Grand Rapids Police Department officer. At the time, he was not an officer. He was 28, and I was 16. I got to know this individual through, community, just small town. I had older siblings and such that, and, I'll just get right to what happened the evening of the sexual assault. I was,
By saying that, sorry to interrupt you, but by saying that, you were saying he wasn't an active police officer at the time the first assault happened. He was a cadet and going through training, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, so he couldn't use quote unquote his authority over you to sexually produce or assault you. He could just, he was a cadet, so he was a normal civilian at that particular moment. But as we move on here, you can indicate other things. So feel free to continue on your story. It's just a question I had for you.
Growing up, my back step here. Growing up, I was a good kid. never detention, never suspended, never got in trouble with the law, didn't drink, didn't do, go out and party, and it just so happens the first night that I decided to go to my first party when I was 16, is the same night this occurred. I had not been drinking, and word got around that someone had called in a noise complaint and that law enforcement was coming. So I attempted to get a hold of, several individuals to, get out of there, because at 16, the only thing I could think of is I don't want to get in trouble with my mom and dad. And
like any other 16-year-old would do, correct?
Yeah. And being my first party, I didn't know what, was going on. And scared out of my mind, because I was never in trouble, so. But anyways, the individual that committed the sexual assault is acquaintances with one of my, I'm going to say contacts, just to, protect their, that.
So you knew the person that you were calling for help to get you out of that situation is what you were trying to get by that.
Yeah, and I had known this individual from, acquaintances. He appeared to be a nice guy, much older than me. He was 28 at the time of this, and I was 16, and as a 16-year-old, thinking, well, I can trust him, he's going to law enforcement school,
And you weren't, you met him prior to this, and there was no indications of him coming off this particular way. It just so happened that night he did come off that way. So so there was no prior interaction with this person that made you fear him. Is what the question I'm asking.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was, hey, how was your day? Just casual conversation, and asking a 16-year-old, going to prom, are you doing that, kind of that stuff. I felt comfortable calling him. He answered the phone, and I explained to him my situation, and that I was afraid I was going to get in trouble, and he told me to send him the address right away, and he'd be there lickety split. And so I did so. I got in the vehicle, which I remember the vehicle, the color, the make, the model. And
what was the make and model of the vehicle? Do you say you remember that still?
it was a green GMC truck.
Okay, thank you.
So So when you had prior acquaintance with him, uh, did the alleged person come off in a way that made you fear that this night would happen, or did he come off like a normal? And how many times did you, I guess, meet him prior to the altercation? Was it like, were you hanging out with them on a regular basis? I know you were saying that acquaintances of yours, that's how you met the gentleman, or the guy. I'm not going to call him a gentleman, even though I did, but the individual, and you were saying that they were pretty good friends. Did you meet them and hang out with them on a regular basis, or was it just the kind of like whenever your acquaintance or whatever was around type deal?
Yeah, whenever, I mean, him and my acquaintance, they went fishing together, they did, activities like that. And
that person was always was around you guys. I mean, so there was always somebody else there prior. So this was the first time that you were alone with the individual, correct?
that's correct.
And sorry, I'm still a little confused. So how long did you know this individual before the event? Can I ask that way?
Probably about a year.
Okay, so he was hanging out with your acquaintance for a year, and then a year later-ish, this night happened. Would that be fair? Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember I just gotten my driver's permit. So, anyways, he picked me up. I got in, and he asked me if I was okay. I said, yeah, I'm scared, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, thank you for helping me. And he was no problem. And then he goes, do you want to go somewhere and talk? Or get to know each other? And I'm like, well, in my mind, that should have been a warning. But 16?
16, yeah, you're 16 years old, You weren't expecting the evil that was going to come.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so he brought me to the showboat landing area where there was kind of like a forest. There's trees and trails, and drove back in there, turned off his lights, reached around behind him, and he had purchased alcohol, and it was Mike's Hard Lemonade. And it was the first time I had ever drank. I'd never drank before that.
Did you feel pressured that you had to drink, or did he force you to drink at all, or was it one of those that here's some alcohol if you want to drink it type thing?
Knowing that he knew the acquaintance and the trust I had in the acquaintance, he was like, the individual kind of pressured and said, no one's gonna know, I'm not gonna tell anybody, it's your first time drinking should be with someone who's mature and that you can trust.
So it sounds like manipulation.
Yeah. drink. And, it started out as casual conversation. High school. I had a job at the time. How was that? And then it got more personal.
By personal, you mean questions or physically?
Yeah. Questions. Such as, do you have a boyfriend? And I told him, well, kind of. And I've been kind of dating someone. At 16, you're kind of dating someone. It's what, but, and he's like, well, you need to be careful because teenage boys only have one thing on their mind. And I'm like, what do you, to me?
And at this point, you were not sexually active whatsoever, correct?
Correct. I was a virgin.
Already.
I had, with my belief system, it was wait until you get married. That was my intent. I wore a purity ring. And then when he asked me, when he said, well, they only have one thing on their mind, I kind of what are you talking about? And he's like, well, sex. He goes, be careful. And I go, well, I've never done that, and I don't plan to until I'm married. And he goes, oh, that's so? So you're a virgin? And I go, yes. And he goes, well, and then it went into, well, what's the most you've done with a boy? And at that point, it was kissing. Nothing but that. And holding hands and hugging. And cuddling watching a movie. Or, normal, typical 16-year-old dating. And then he goes, oh, so you don't have any experience at all. I go, and I asked him what he meant by that, and he says, oral sex, and sexual positions, and stuff like that. And I said, no, I don't. At that point, I told him, I go, I really don't feel comfortable talking about this. Because I know you, but that's, at 16, you're growing into womanhood, getting into that groove. And, hold on a second. And then I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Yep, take your time.
I, tried changing the subject, and, he just kept, ongoing, and then, at this point, I was on my second white card lemonade, so being that I never drank before, I was buzzed. I was, not, sober. And I let my guard down. And I thought he was going to grab something, and he grabbed onto my thigh, and I go, what are you doing? Can you please not touch me or remove your hand? And he didn't say anything. He then attempted to try and kiss me, which I kind of did the bob and swerve kind of thing. And at that point, I had pretty long hair. He grabbed me by the hair and pulled me in and forced himself.
So did you think that it was just going to be a kiss, or did you think it was going to go farther?
At the time I was like, what the, I don't know what's going on. I thought, okay, maybe he was just trying to be nice, or, and so I thought it was just a kiss. And then it became more.
So he sexually assaulted you that night?
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yes.
So when that happened, did you after the sexual assault happened, did you go home and did you say anything to anybody, or were you in shock, or what was your next line of thinking when that traumatic incident happened?
I guess if I can ask this, maybe before that, did he discuss it with you at all? Did he make any comment as to, don't say nothing about this, or what was the discussion after he assaulted you?
He told me that he had previous military experience, and that he knew ways to make people disappear.
So he was intimidating you.
And the acquaintance that we had, he threatened to cause issues in their life. And I'm a kind soul. I'm a caregiver. Like, I'm a after it happened, he told me, don't say anything, nothing happened. And during the assault, I struggled. I tried to push him, and I'm a little itty bitty thing, and he's a 28-year-old man.
Yeah.
Did you scream at all? Did you say no, stop it, or anything like that? Or
yes, I'm like, stop.
He clearly knew that he was doing it to you.
Yes, he told me that. That if I didn't, he got angry when I kept trying to fight him off. He goes, don't make me get the zip ties out.
Oh.
So he's going to zip tie you in and hold you down, is what you're saying?
Yes.
multiple times. So the first time he was not an active police officer in the state of Minnesota. He was a cadet in training. The second time, was he an active police officer?
Yes, he was.
Okay, you want to, I guess it's up to you there, Amber, but if you want to tell us,
Yeah,
about that situation and whatnot, I mean, you're more than welcome to go into more details, but we're not going to force you into anything.
Well, after the assault, he dropped me off at home. I went straight to my room and talked and just cried and took a shower and cried in the shower and was just in shock and was embarrassed. And
now, did you say anything to anybody? Did you tell anybody this situation occurred? Like a close friend, a relative, or anything like that? Or were you there by yourself to deal with it?
I was there. My parents were sleeping, and so were my siblings. So I checked in with my mom, dad, to say that I'm home, and then I just went straight. I felt so dirty and disgusting that I remember scrubbing my skin until it was bright red. And to this day, I still have issues with that.
So the other encounters, how many total sexual conduct or criminal sexual conduct, alleged criminal sexual conduct occurred with this particular person? And from here on out, he was an active police officer, and was he on duty for all the times that he did these issues with you?
Yes, there was 4 other instances.
And do you have a timeline, like over a span of time?
So the initial occurred in 2006, and it just went on from 2006 to 2008.
Okay, so about 2 years in a couple different instances.
I should say not 2008, 2011. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right, he was actually on duty with the police department when he performed these criminal sexual conduct against you, or alleged?
Yes.
So he was in uniform and everything, correct?
Correct.
Amber, is it fair to say, because I don't want to put any words in your mouth or anything, that you were very intimidated by him and you were in fear of not only maybe harm to you, but loved ones in your family, that he threatened to maybe not necessarily even physically harm, but harm in their professions or some other ways?
Yes. To this day, I'm in fear of him. He set up an email account and would send me emails on how if I didn't meet up with him or comply, or that he would make my life a living hell.
So after, with all these encounters, did he, was there any protection used, or what occurred? Did you end up pregnant, or what happened here with that?
After, so the first assault, no condom was used. I wasn't sexually active, so I was on birth control. And I ended up pregnant by this individual. And I informed him of this, and he told me, get an abortion or I'll end it for you. So he proceeded to...
So he threatened bodily harm on you and now your child within you.
Yep.
Now coming into this, your religious beliefs do not believe in getting rid of the child, correct? That's what you told me, right?
Correct.
So you wouldn't have never got rid of the child if that was the case, correct? If he did threaten you?
Correct. That's correct.
And you said that was performed in Minneapolis?
Yep. So, first I was a minor. I had to tell my parents that I was pregnant, but I couldn't tell them every detail due to the fear and retaliation and the unknown of what he was capable of. And so I told my parents, and the boyfriend I was dating at the time, I finally, once I found out I was pregnant, I broke down and I told him everything that had happened. And told him I can't go to my parents with this. I can't. What am I, like, and he goes, by the grace of his heart, he goes, I'll say that it's mine. So you don't have to relive that.
So the boyfriend that you were dating at the time, did the perpetrator or the person that did the criminal sexual conduct against you, did he know that you were dating this individual, or did he think you were single at the time?
I had told, when he had asked me in his truck, boyfriend, he knew that I was seeing someone, like, kind of, and we had just started seeing each other, and, we went to middle school together, high school, small town.
That individual, whoops, sorry, Jake, go for it.
So is the same boyfriend throughout the whole, would you say, experience, or not? Or through the I guess it's not. I mean, I'm just curious.
The initial
Because you said this was over
And so,
so many years. I forgot how many years you said, but I was just curious if it's the same boyfriend, different boyfriend, or
it,
and it doesn't.
I have only told him about the initial encounter, and I kept the rest to myself out of fear, because at this time, this individual was done with academy, was offered a job at the Grand Rapids Police Department, and just so happened to sometimes work as a school resilience officer, I believe they're called. So he knew I was in high school. He knew my age. I saw him on several occasions while in school.
So that those incidents were traumatizing, and so we're not downplaying this, but we're just trying to get your story out there. So when that happened, and whatnot, and you were traumatized to the point of where you were rubbing your skin in the shower red. Did it lead to any other abuses when it comes to alcohol or narcotics or anything like that? Did that rape issue, did that happen to influence any other things in your life when it came to abuses?
Yes, that night ruined my life.
You can take a break if you need to, so don't,
I can say I'm a mom now, but thank the Lord for him. But I had went through. I got married in 2019. No, not 2019. 2009. I'm sorry. And I went through a series of miscarriages. And I blamed myself because I believed that it was God's way of punishing me for having an abortion, for taking a life.
Do you want to take a break, or are you good to go there, Amber?
I'm good.
Already. This trauma that happened, you said that it led, when we were talking or whatever, it led you into taking prescriptive narcotics and abusing them. Was that a line that caused from being raped, or was it allegedly raped, or do you believe, or was there anything else that led to you taking those prescriptive drugs and abusing it?
So, at the time, My child was Jewish, and I was struggling with anxiety and night terrors. My night terrors started a week, not even a week after the initial assault. And so I wasn't sleeping. I was constantly having panic attacks. I was prescribed benzodiazepine, which is an anti-anxiety med. So I took it as prescribed. It worked. Then I received a couple of emails from the individual, which caused, 10 flashbacks, increase in night terrors, and so I started to take more than prescribed. And
so that incident, or those incidents, caused you to take because of that, correct?
correct.
Can I ask you, were you ever in any counseling or therapy during any of this before or during this time, or?
I didn't get into therapy until after my divorce.
Okay, so you weren't
So-
you weren't during the time that these acts allegedly happened. You were not in therapy or talking to anybody.
It was all to myself.
Okay.
There is probably not even a handful of people that knew about the initial encounter.
So it sounds like it's fair to say that you were traumatized to the point with his threats that it did severely affect you emotionally, physically, and with the drug situation and everything else, which is totally understandable. And as far as not immediately contacting anybody, it was because you feared for them and yourself.
Yes. And I just felt that it was my fault. And no woman should ever have to feel that way.
I can agree, and I believe the other two will 100% agree with you that what happened to you should never happen to individuals, women or men. But do you?
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
No, go for it, John.
The other part of that is, from what I understand, over the years, you really took this to a level of making a commitment to helping others, which it sounds like it's the reason you're talking right now also. Can you go into that a little bit, your advocacy?
I work in healthcare, and I volunteer with the local advocacy program for domestic violence, rape. I've worked in mental health, primarily in healthcare, to help those that been a victim.
So is it fair to say that, knowing that background now, that this isn't like revenge now or anything? With your advocacy, do you see that too many times the victims are victimized even more because there never seems to be any accountability for the individuals that commit these horrific acts?
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that would be a goal that you would like to see is not only for yourself but just in general, that individuals would be held accountable, and in this case, he was a cadet at the time, then he was an officer, and he currently, from what I understand, is still a law enforcement officer. That's a position of authority and mandatory reporter, and definitely should be, in your opinion, should be held accountable to this day, because who knows what is happening still.
and another thing is that through the years that I've had episodes of, from this suicide attempts and, stuff like that. But as of today, I am more than 10 years sober.
Good for you.
Yeah.
These individuals, these officers, are supposed to serve and protect.
Yeah.
So, who protects you or me from someone who is supposed to serve and protect?
Yeah. And that's the main reason that I'm so proud of you. I don't know if it's fair for me to say that because, we don't know each other, but for you to speak out as you are now, and I can tell it's as much to help the people you're advocating for, and you should be very proud of yourself for that also.
And can I ask where you'd like to take it from here, or what would be some of your goals, Amber? Or not?
Thank you, John, by the way. Since several of the occurrences happened while he was on duty, occurred in places where only law enforcement would have access to.
Wow.
And the fact that he has the guts to do that, what is stopping him from going who knows where?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's definitely a systemic problem within our local law enforcement, and I'm sure you follow along with some of the reporting that's going on, and I think, and I don't know how far you want to go with this. I would love for you to go further. I understand the fears to this day, it sounds like, or maybe you can tell me that. Do you still fear to this day the potential retaliation against yourself, but just as important, that you have family in this area because he is law enforcement still?
It's not, there's fear, and then there's one thing that I have learned throughout my life and throughout my sobriety is that your secrets keep you sick.
Yeah.
And he is a sick individual.
Yeah.
And I, I can't say that I will I will never get over this. This will never, but I will not let it define who I am.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And
And I will not let him have the control.
Yeah.
And I will take this as far as I need to
Okay.
prevent this from happening to another young woman.
That's, we talked prior to this, me and Amber talked prior to this interaction here, and that was one of the things that I asked her. I was like, you realize that this ain't just happened to you, Amber. This is happening still today to young ladies, young girls, young kids in our area. And by shedding light and telling your story, it might save a young girl's life. It might save a young girl's ability to live a genuine life. So you coming out with your story on our platform, and our platform isn't Joe Rogan by no means, but I mean we'll get it out there and we'll get the people to hear your story, and that's hopefully a young girl or young lady that's in this position that is feeling this way and is in the position that you were once in knows that she's not the only one. And there's ways to come out and tell people the situation that has occurred.
Yeah. And there's a tremendous amount of support just from the reporting that we've done. There's hundreds of individuals that are talking about this now and are putting pressure on. And I think by you telling your story, that's going to multiply. And I'm hoping that we can stop this.
And the thing, being a parent, you learn so many life lessons along the way. And one of the things is I know that this individual has children, daughters, and what he did to me, I'm someone's daughter.
Yeah.
How would it be if the role were reversed?
Yes.
I don't wish that on his children because I'm not like that at all. I don't believe in that. I don't wish bad upon anybody. But he needs to pay for the damages he's done.
Yes. But he needs to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Itasca County needs to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
I believe we all can agree on that. So just to wrap the show up here, or this episode, the outcome you're looking for just accountability, and to what happened to you and whatnot, to get the word out to the other individual young ladies out there that are dealing with a similar situation, that criminal sexual conduct, it doesn't matter if it is from a law enforcement officer or not, is not acceptable whatsoever. Where do you want to take this, Amber? Are you looking at maybe pursuing a legal way, or what's your next steps on what you want to do in this situation?
I plan on, you know, seeking advice from legal counsel in this matter, because, I mean, I grew up in Itasca County. It's a good old boys club.
Yeah.
They're gonna protect each other. It's just how it, you know. And I understand that their job is to, you know, protect each other, but that's a dangerous situation, not an assault or an offense.
So you are aware that there is no statute of limitations on the criminal aspect of this?
Yes, I am aware. And it took me, I didn't tell people about this until about 10 years ago.
And just to jump on that, is there, I know it's trauma and whatnot, was there a fear of telling somebody about this, or what made you not say anything to anybody about what happened or what occurred? I understand the aspect of this perpetrator threatening you, but even then, I mean, I'm sure you have a best friend or relative or something like that would be close to you that you could have told this to and they would have listened. But so why did you hang on to it for so long without saying anything? You know, were you ashamed of yourself? Were you embarrassed? Or all the above, I guess?
I was ashamed, embarrassed. I mean, how do you tell somebody something like this? And it took getting clean and sober and being told that when I did explain it to people or certain individuals that are special in my life, that, well, who are they going to believe? A drug addict or a cop?
Yeah.
So with that being said, if you got another young lady out there that happens to listen to this, here's your story and listen to it to this point, what will you tell them? Would you tell them right now, Amber, to go tell people and to get their story out, or would you tell them to hang on to it like you did?
Don't hang on to it. Don't let it control your life. Don't let it take parts of your life away from you. Don't blame yourself. You didn't do anything wrong.
No.
You are a victim of a horrible crime. And that if, you know, I've worked crisis response, call crisis response, call a hotline. There are several resources out there. I know it's embarrassing, and I know it's scary and overwhelming, and it just takes over your life, and you don't know what's up from down, and you just want to make that incident go away and not have to think about it. But if you do not process it and seek help and report these incidents circumstances, it's only going to damage your soul, your mental health, your relationships in the future. I struggle with trust issues, and if anything, just reach out to someone, an advocate. The advocates in the Itasca County area are that deal with domestic violence and sexual assault are amazing to work with. Reach out to them.
Okay.
And Amber, if I may, if a young lady comes to me or comes to any one of us after we post this on the system, can we send them your? I know Amber's. Can we send them your information and have them talk to you?
Or at the very least, the organizations that you're working with, because I could see it because it's overwhelming. But I agree there is good people at the place you're talking about here. But I've talked to a lot of individuals since we've been exposing this that you said the words good old boys, good old girls club in Itasca County. It does extend out to some of the groups you're talking about. So if you would be willing maybe to give us the information on those organizations, sometimes I think organizations from out of the area are maybe more understanding. I'll say it that way.
I can share with Rob the website. I can send him the links to to get the information out there.
And I will do that. I will post that with this on our page, and then I'll send it to you two, you and Jake, John, and then that way, if anybody else is going through this issue, if this reaches anybody else going through this issue, they have a resource that, like John said, it's there is good people in the system here, but they're within the same system. You know what I'm saying? So if we can get them a place outside this system, it might be better for that individual.
And it is a small town, like you said, and so I think you understand that portion of it too.
Yeah, I don't live in the area anymore. Due to getting divorced and sharing custody, that kind of thing. But out of fear, I wanted to start a new life.
Yeah.
I wanted to start fresh. I'm sober. I'm helping people that are going through what I've been through. And like I tell women, I don't do this job or do this for the money. I do this because someone was there for me.
Yeah. And now you're there for them, and that's truly amazing. Like I said, you should be so proud of yourself, because we need individuals like you that are stepping forward now, even through the fear and the trauma, and I really want to tell you how much I appreciate it.
Yeah, I will too, on behalf of Northern Light Transparency, this group. I choose you as our first interviewer just because, I believed in what you were saying. From day one, when you sent me the message, there was just something that you sparked there that had that, and for you to come out like you have and tell your story, it shows that there is an upside in this aspect. Not the trauma side, but let's get some accountability in that occurred. I'm sorry for walking on you, Jake. So you can go.
Yeah, again, appreciate being part of this conversation. We'll do everything we can, or reach out to us, whatever we can do to help facilitate. And yeah, this is, again, just thanks for telling your story.
Thanks, guys.
If you need any help, Amber, you just reach out to me and we can go from there. It's just when it comes to the legal side, none of us are attorneys, none of us are legal consultants or anything. So when it comes to that, I mean, we can point you into attorneys or whatnot and how to do it, but we can't give you any advice when it comes to the legal aspect of stuff.
But having said that, there are several that I know I've worked with, and I know Jake has in his, and Robert too, but particularly out of Minneapolis and Duluth. So we can talk about that later, but as you pursue this, I definitely would want to be able to help you in that area if I can at all.
I appreciate that. I just want to protect our future, our kids, you know?
Yep.
Yep.
It shouldn't take something like this to make, this come, it shouldn't. None of what happened to me should have went as far as it did.
No.
If he, as I'm aware, you are sworn as an officer, you take an oath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did not follow that oath.
Well, and then you would never expect that from a person that put the badge on. That's the normal person's way of thinking is the person with the badge is the savior, not the enemy. So with this happening to you, it's just sad that there is enemies within that badge, and then there's other people or the other young ladies out there that are going through this issue. And I know for a fact that there's other people in Itasca County alone that is going through this issue, not alone just northern Minnesota and the state in general, they feel feared for their life like you are, they will hold it in, and, with trauma stuff what happens, I don't even want to pretend that I know, how that felt because it's not right for me to even try to pretend that, but we have to, people like you that are coming out shed light and it opens the eye that it's not just a big city thing that is occurring. It's not just in the big cities. And actually, you can look at it and say it's probably occurring more in the smaller cities like Grand Rapids and the surrounding areas. Because it's much easier to get away with it than it is the bigger cities per se.
I mean, statistics show, and I can provide you this information, that in 35 small towns like Grand Rapids, 52% of law enforcement have violated, either sexually violated someone, harassed, abused their authority. So this is not just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to make very clear that we're not advocating that we hate police. We do not hate the police department. We like the police department. We need police. but we need to get the people that are corrupt out of the system, because they're killing the system as a whole this way. And with what happened to you, Amber, that person does not deserve to wear that badge. He deserves to be wearing orange.
Yeah. And the other side of that is, I agree with what Robert just said. My uncle was a sheriff for 23 years. I had a family member, 32 years, state trooper, and I am pro law enforcement. But just like the general public, there's bad people in law enforcement, you know, doctors, lawyers, carpenters, electricians, whatever. And by you doing this, I'm hoping that the good law enforcement officers will start stepping up to the plate and holding the bad ones accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it, you know, by sharing this.
You have any questions, Jake? Sorry.
Yeah, no, well, I can just I mean, this is just my personal perspective. I'm from southern Minnesota, Rice County area here, and, you know, kind of lived there for close to 40 years, and never really seen a lot of this kind of allegations, and then kind of been transitioning up here, and it seems like it's a repetitive pattern, let me just say it that way, from what I've heard from my Itasca County area, or I don't know, more northern area, Minnesota area, or just something going on in this particular. And we've talked about it. There's been other stories about it, and John's been talking about it too. It sounds like something that needs to get corrected.
It's systemic.
Yeah.
It definitely is systemic, and it needs to be brought to light. And again, thank you, Amber, for doing that.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I'm not anti-law enforcement. I pray for them each day and every,
Yeah.
you know, and I thank them for their service. I am respectful, and I appreciate the ones that go out there and do their job the way they're supposed to, and don't abuse it. And so I just appreciate you guys for letting me get this out there, and I hope and pray that if anyone is struggling, to reach out. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Well, I appreciate your time, Amber. God bless you and your family. And anytime you need to speak or want to talk, feel free to reach out to me. And then we'll call this the end of the show, our episode. We appreciate everything that you said is, hopefully it goes to good. It shows a positive, and if I'm gonna echo what Amber said. If you're having these type of issues out there and you need somebody to speak to, feel free. You can reach out to me either at Northern Light Transparency on Facebook or my personal account. Reach out to me. We can talk. You can tell Amber. Amber was comfortable to reach out to me. I kept everything within our circle, within mine and Amber's circle, and if you need that person to talk to, feel free, by all means.
Yeah, and that goes if you want to get your story out, and like you did, because it's the only way that's going to fix the problem, and there definitely is a problem, and I'll say the same that Robert said. I'm on Facebook, J. Scott Casper. You can reach out to me, and we'll try to get you resources, or we'll try to get your story out.
Yeah, I just want to echo again. I just appreciate you trusting us to get your story out. Definitely, we'll do everything in my capacity to help. After you're okay with sharing this message, and I'd hope to talk to you more in the future. It sounds like you're a wealth of information and statistics and that kind of stuff, and maybe we can see where things go.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to help in any way I can.
Alrighty, Amber, I appreciate it. This will probably be the end of this episode, and we'll keep in touch. If you ever need somebody to talk to, Amber, you can text me. We can go from there. Who knows? Maybe a few episodes down the road here, we'll have you back on and see how things are going, and we'll check in with you from time to time. And I sure do appreciate you being our first episode, because I felt like this was a way for Northern Transparency to get off the ground and put a light into the local areas, the local environment. And we have this person here that has a credible, validated issue in our area and needs to be taken care of. So, Amber, once again, I appreciate you for coming, and you have yourself a good night, and God bless you.
God bless you guys, and thank you for letting me share my story.
Anytime, Amber. Have a good night.
Yep.
You too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. This call is no longer